After hours of grinding, I eventually hit all 50 skills. Maxing out all the skills requires a lot of patience, determination, and a strong mental health. The journey I was willing to take to achieve 50 skill average. I'll first tell you my story of how and when did I get into skill grinding, and who was involved in it. On August 12, 2019, I noticed a skill in my skill menu. It was the combat skill. The skill was the only skill that stood out. It was the skill I wanted to get and was the only skill I wanted to max out. Ever since the end update came out, the game's meta changed from focusing on effective HP to damage. Getting critical damage was hard at the time as there aren't that many talismans we could have used, and the only epic talisman was the experience artifact with no legendary talisman until the spooky event. However, people found a way around this. In the Spider's collection, there's a hat that gives you 25% critical chance. People will use this with the Diver's armor to one-shot. As Diver armor was the best EHP armor at the time, nobody bothered to switch to Ender armor. Everyone stuck with Divers with the Godly Reforged. Soon, people realized Ender armor was far superior than the other main sets at the time, but only in the end. Ender armor would go as high as 400,000 per piece, and superior armor only 24 million in total. I didn't have the money back then. I spent all of them getting my Emerald armor, and without Emerald armor full set bonus, I am nothing. I decided to spend 1 week grinding Enderman and grading my combat skill up. Realizing the price of Ender armor, I sold every piece I got. Although I couldn't one-shot pellets, I was able to do up to 10k. Fast forward 1 month, I stay at combat 25 plus, not really much happening, just doing dragons and getting profits. Until it wasn't enough. Me and my friends that were doing dragons with me was too slow. Fast forward another month, today is the 3rd of November 2019, my friend told me about pro spamming. We would do this in the end every day and get up to 600,000 combat XP every hour and about 1 mil coins. The only downside to this is we had to move every time an Endernon comes in and use leave to kill them. So I thought to myself, where else is uncommon for people to go? And I did some tests outside the end to see if I can summon zealots, and surprisingly you can. This is how today's pro spamming was made. October 10, 2019, Slayers came out. It gives us the new content and new others. Running combat was so much easier now and couldn't be any more thankful for it. Killing all the tier 4 Slayers granted me 15% combat XP boost. But wait, in the Slayers collection, there was an item I wanted, an item I needed. It was the Hunter Ring. It gives 5% more combat XP. I didn't have the time to grind that much, so at the time, I had the money to buy it, so I bought it off Dr. Mummy's Juice for a total of 63 million. I was really happy with Comet 33, not much going on, and I was able to notice the difference between 25 and 33. Then, a new challenger approached. His name goes by Brexter. He would join the bullshit every day and bragging how close he was to overtaking me in combat. I told him I would easily surpass him in only days with my new secret combat XP method. November 12, 2019, the new Foraging Park was added, and it came with the Viking NPC. This NPC sells you Viking tiers, and what it gives was 10% more combat XP. I used it day after day, costing me over 10 million coins in Viking tiers, and got me combat 41, and also beating Brexter. I finally decided to stop and wanted to do Slayers to get it to 50 instead. Foraging, the skill that would give me more damage, as I was extremely power hungry at the time. It was quite tedious and difficult to do. Compared to today's XP per hour, you get 1.1 million more XP per hour than when I was foraging. I was going up the ranking fast. Nobody was griefing me and nobody was stopping me. I was using both the Jungle Axe and Golden Axe to get the maximum XP per hour. Fast forward 24 days, Cricket came out when I was foraging. I was already foraging 44 and this wasn't a big help at all. Instead, it just looked like a fuck you for grinding foraging that early on. I was also competing with a Baritone user. His name went by H17D. He will Baritone every day in the private hub, but fortunately, he was wiped. March 21st, 2020, I finally got 40 and 50, then I went running combat for my last 2 levels. During my foraging grind, I took some break and did some Slayers to get my combat up for this moment. But it wasn't a big deal to get the 2 last level. I then became the first person to get both foraging 50 and combat 50, as well as the first person to get foraging 50. Fishing. After my foraging grind, I just did more dragons. It was fun although I didn't have ducks, but still quite a big difference. It got bored very fast and just realized it wasn't because I was killing it slow. It was because it felt so repetitive. So I set a new quest to get fishing 50. Fishing, this skill wasn't easy at all. I wasn't fishing at maximum speed. Every day the road to fishing 50 became more unstable the day after the other. Took longer breaks than after the other as well. I really don't feel like fishing as much. So then I move on to pond fishing. I figure if I swap my pets while fishing I can get more XP. Plus it was raining occasionally in the Sweaterland, so I thought it was good. Hitting fishing 50 was a big relief and felt so much freedom. Sometimes I forgot how it feels like without pressure to continue your goal. Farming, the current hard skill to get to 50. It was more boring than fishing. Spamming right click to build a sugarcane farm was tiring, and staring at the green Minecraft block wasn't any less boring. You can say I could have watched Netflix or videos. I was doing that, yet it was boring. Constantly putting pressure down to my W key and my left click key just feels so weird. There's no other movement than straight, which it was just boring. Hitting farming 50, I just gave up and went and played dungeons. Until dungeons were also boring, and making farming somehow less boring. The last 3 skills was a joke: Enchanting, Mining, and Alchemy. With the new community update, it bought us 8 mayors, and 3 was special. Foxy gave us the national mining event, which allows us to get mineral armor. 5 days after, people voted for coal. Coal gave us 2x mining boost and 25% minion speed. However, there's no minions over mining minions apparently, so there's that. I only spent about 3 days mining compared to 70 days of fishing. What also boosted my motivation was trying to beat Mekzz and Surfish Prot. They were extremely close to beating me, but they were losers, so they just didn't get it before me. After all our 50 skills, the feeling of freedom reappeared, and honestly, it's nice taking 3 more minutes in the shower and watching videos sometimes without Minecraft on my other screen or on my other side of my screen. Now that's the end of my story of average 50 story. I'll put everyone's name. I couldn't fit everyone in here, or else it will make it too long. But I'll fit everyone's name in the description that helped me, or motivated me, or even was part of a grief. You know, I'll put on a video in the description of me getting grief while mining, so you guys can see that and all of the people who was involved. Yeah. And which part they took part in, so yeah.